You are the last, the final pilot of the endurance program. An admiral with more medals than years left in his life told you so himself. He stood before you, a relic from an age of fleet battles and grand strategies. His voice was like grinding stones. He said your target was a new kind of monster. They called it a void eater, a rogue singularity. It did not just consume matter. It consumed the very laws that governed it. Every probe sent to study it had vanished. Every drone, every brave pilot who went before you was gone, not just destroyed, erased, as if they had never been. The Void Eater did not leave wreckage. It left nothing. A clean, perfect emptiness where something used to be. The best minds of humanity looked at the data, or the lack of it, and they had no answers. They only had a theory, a terrifying, whispered theory. They believed this thing was not just a natural event. They believed it was hungry, and it was old, older than the stars themselves. So they called you, the last of a dying breed, a pilot trained to fly by instinct when instruments failed, a warrior taught to face the impossible when strategy crumbled. Your mission was not to study the Void Eater. It was not to observe it from a safe distance. Your mission was to fly into its heart and kill it. They gave you a ship, the Unyielding. It was the last argument humanity could make against the unending dark. This was your final call, a one-way trip to face a god or a demon. It did not matter which. You only had to prove it could die. The silence in the launch bay feels heavier than any planet's gravity. It presses down on you, a physical weight. The Unyielding is the only thing here. A sleek, dark spear pointed at the throat of infinity. It is humanity's last masterpiece of defiance. Its armor is forged from collapsed star matter. Its engine breathes controlled pockets of space-time. It is less a machine and more a contained miracle. Your crew is an AI, a silent partner who has been with you since your first flight. It does not speak in words. It speaks in readiness, in the low, steady hum of the core systems. You walk the gantry alone. Each step echoes in the cavernous space. There are no crowds, no tearful goodbyes, no grand speeches. Humanity had already said its farewells to the other pilots, the ones who never came back. Now, there is only the quiet resignation of a final, desperate gamble. You place your hand on the ship's hull. It is cold. As cold as the void it is built to challenge. This is more than your ship. It is your tomb, your sword, your final legacy. You climb into the cockpit. The canopy seals with a soft hiss, shutting out the last of the world you knew. The countdown is a formality, a whisper in your ear from a distant, unseen controller. 10, 9, 8. You see your reflection in the forward view screen. The face of the person they send when hope is gone. 7, 6, 5. The engine begins to thrum, a vibration that you feel in your bones. It is the feeling of immense power held in perfect check. 4, 3, 2. The launch clamps retract with a sharp metallic clang. 1. There is no fire, no violent shudder. The Unyielding simply lifts. It ascends from its cradle with impossible grace. It moves through the station's magnetic causeway, a silver needle threading its way to the stars. Then, it is gone. One last departure into the silent, waiting night. The journey is measured in strange new ways, not in distance or time, but in the slow, creeping wrongness of the space around you. At first, it is subtle. The light from distant stars begins to bend, not in gentle, predictable arcs, but in sharp, jagged lines, as if you are looking at the universe through a shattered pane of glass. The Unyielding sensors report the impossible. Negative energy readings, space-time coordinates that fold back on themselves. Your AI companion remains steady. It adjusts the ship's warp field constantly, a silent battle against physics that is starting to fray at the edges. You push deeper. The boundary you cross is not visible. It is not a line or a wall. You feel it, a sensation like falling, even though you are perfectly still. Time itself is becoming a suggestion rather than a rule. The ship's chronometer flickers, displaying numbers that drift and then snap back into place. An hour passes in a heartbeat. A minute stretches into an eternity. You are beyond the whispering veil now. This is the domain of the Void Eater, a place where reality has been softened, made pliable, ready to be consumed. The ship alerts you to objects in your path, a field of them, too small to be planets, too large to be asteroids. As you draw closer, their shapes become clear. They are ships, hundreds of them. No, thousands. A graveyard of 1,000 worlds. They drift in a silent, slow ballet of death. Great organic vessels that look like fossilized sea creatures. Crystalline ships that glitter like captured constellations. Warships of brutalist, geometric design. They are all dark, all silent. Monuments to every other civilization that faced this foe and lost. You navigate the wreckage with slow, deliberate care. The unyielding glides between the silent hulks. Some are surprisingly intact, their hulls scarred but not breached. Others are twisted into unrecognizable shapes, metal and strange alloys warped as if they were clay. There are no signs of battle, no weapon impacts, no explosions. It is as if their crews simply ceased to exist. Their power died. Their lights went out. They were left to drift forever as a warning that you have no choice but to ignore. You look at the silent armada of the dead, and you wonder if they felt the same foolish hope you feel now. The hope that they would be the one to succeed. Suddenly, your ship shudders. A violent, wrenching motion that throws you against your restraints. Alarms blare, a harsh symphony of electronic panic. The AI flashes a warning on your main screen. Gravitational anomaly, high energy, unstable. You look out the cockpit. A tendril of pure blackness is reaching for you. It is a ribbon of distorted space, a whip made of gravity itself. It lashes out from the void ahead. It is not fast. It is instantaneous. It is there, testing you, probing your defenses. You seize the controls. Your hands move with an instinct born from 1,000 simulated battles and a dozen real ones. You fire the maneuvering thrusters, sending the unyielding into a sharp, evasive spiral. The tendril follows. It does not chase your heat signature or your energy trail. It anticipates your every move. It knows where you are going before you do. Another tendril erupts from the darkness, and another. They are not just attacking your ship. They are trying to box you in, to wrap you in a cage of inescapable gravity. You are no longer just a pilot. You are a dancer, and your partner is a hungry god. Its dance floor is the abyss, and its rhythm is the drumbeat of your own frantic heart. The ship groans under the strain. Metal fatigues. Systems whine in protest. You push the engine to its absolute limit. Weaving through the gravitational whips, you fly closer to the derelict ships. You use them as shields, letting the tendrils smash into the ancient husks. A crystalline vessel shatters into 1,000,000 glittering fragments. A massive organic cruiser is tied into a knot and then crushed into a single, dense point. You feel a strange sense of guilt, desecrating a graveyard to save yourself. But there is no time for sentiment. Not here. The Void's first attack is relentless. It is a test of will as much as skill, and you will not fail. As you fight the physical assault, something else begins to intrude. a whisper in the back of your mind. It is not sound, it is a feeling, a cold, creeping dread that has nothing to do with your own fear. The whispers grow louder. They become voices, millions of them, a chorus of despair. They are the echoes of the devoured, the psychic screams of every life the Void Eater has consumed. Civilizations that lived for eons, beings of pure energy, minds that spanned galaxies, all of them are here, trapped in the Singularity's memory, a tide of pure, undiluted terror. The voices tell you of their ends, a race of philosophers who met the void with logic and were consumed, a species of warriors who threw fleets of star killers at it and were consumed, a gentle people who offered it gifts of art and music and were consumed. Their final moments of agony and confusion wash over you. They try to drown your consciousness in their shared nightmare. They show you images of dying suns and crumbling worlds. They scream. They beg. They weep. It is a weapon more insidious than any gravitational tendril. It attacks your soul. You grit your teeth. You focus on the hum of your ship's engine, on the feel of the controls in your hands, on the steady, reassuring presence of your AI companion. You have been trained for this too. Psychic warfare, mental resilience. But this is beyond anything you have ever faced. It is the concentrated death of galaxies pouring into your mind. You erect your mental shields, the discipline and focus that define an endurance pilot. You cannot block the voices out completely, but you can refuse to listen. You are human. Stubbornness is your birthright. You will not be broken by ghosts. The ship screams, a long, tearing sound of protesting metal. A gravitational tendril has finally caught you. It wraps around the aft section of the Unyielding, crushing the engine housing. Red lights flash across your console like spilled blood. Main power is failing. Life support is unstable. The AI flashes a string of damage reports that scroll too fast to read. The gist is simple. The ship is dying. It is being torn apart, piece by piece. The tendril squeezes, and the ship's spine groans in agony. Your AI companion does something unexpected. It overrides your controls. A message appears on the screen, clear and simple. Maneuver Epsilon, for the pilot. You know what Epsilon is. It is a final, desperate act. A controlled detonation of the ship's warp core. Not as a weapon, but as a propulsion charge. A one-time, all-or-nothing push. It will destroy the ship. It will obliterate the AI. But it just might, throw the cockpit clear of the tendril's grasp and give you the final momentum you need to reach the heart of the void. There is no time to argue. No time to say goodbye. The AI executes the command. You feel a colossal surge of power from behind you. A force that feels like the birth of a sun. The Unyielding shudders one last time, a final, defiant roar. The rear two-thirds of the ship vaporize in a flash of pure energy. The explosion severs the gravitational tendril and acts like the biggest rocket engine ever built. Your shattered cockpit, your tiny lifeboat, is hurled forward, straight into the maw of the enemy. The Unyielding's final sacrifice is complete, its purpose fulfilled. It has carried you to the gates of hell. Now you must walk through them alone. Silence. The sudden, absolute silence is more shocking than the explosion. You are adrift. The only sound is the ragged hiss of your own breathing inside your helmet. Your cockpit is a wreck. The canopy is a spider web of cracks. Consoles are dark. The only light comes from the thing in front of you. The heart of the hunger. You have arrived. You stare into the true event horizon. It is not black. Black is a color. This is the absence of color, the absence of light, the absence of space. It is a perfect sphere of absolute nothing. It does not pull you. It does not suck you in. It simply waits. The space around you flows into it like a river into the sea. But the sphere itself is serene, calm, perfect. The psychic screams have stopped. The gravitational tendrils are gone. There is only this perfect, silent void. It is beautiful in a terrifying, final way. This is the ultimate predator, the end of all things. It has fed on stars and galaxies for longer than your species has known fire. And now, it waits for you. A tiny, insignificant morsel in a broken metal shell. It thinks it has already won. But you did not come here to fight it with ships and guns. Humanity learned that lesson from the 1,000 silent wrecks you passed. You came here to fight it with an idea. Tucked into a shielded compartment beneath your seat is your weapon. You reach down and pull a small, metallic sphere into your lap. It is surprisingly light. It is covered in intricate circuits that glow with a soft, blue light. This is not a bomb of fire and fusion. It is a bomb of logic, the Chronos device. It is designed to attack not matter, but the void's ancient, simple consciousness. Humanity's best minds theorized that the Void Eater was ancient, powerful, and intelligent, but in a very primal way. It understood hunger, it understood consumption, it understood force. But could it understand complexity? Could it understand paradox? The Chronos device contains a payload unlike any other. It is a compressed record of the entirety of human existence. Every song ever written, every painting ever created, every scientific formula, every declaration of love whispered in the dark, every act of senseless violence, every moment of foolish, impossible hope. It is the story of a loud, chaotic, illogical species. Your species. You take a deep breath. Your finger hovers over the activation stud. This is it. The ultimate gamble. You are about to feed a god a meal it cannot digest. A concept poison. You will not bombard it with antimatter. You will bombard it with memory, with art, with love, with contradiction. You will show this ancient, simple hunger, the glorious, messy, beautiful, terrible chaos of being human. You press the stud. The Chronos device hums, and then dissolves into a stream of pure information that flows directly into the singularity. You unleash humanity's story. The void is a being of pure, simple hunger. It has only one desire: to consume, to make everything part of its own quiet emptiness. And so, it consumes your offering. It drinks in the data stream eagerly. It tastes the fall of Rome and the first steps on the moon. It absorbs the symphonies of Beethoven and the quiet poetry of a lonely girl. It devours the joy of 1,000 summer festivals and the grief of 1,000,000 hospital bedsides. It swallows the complex mathematics of star science and the irrational hope of a prayer. For a moment, nothing happens. The perfect sphere of nothing remains unchanged. You feel a flicker of doubt. Did it work? Was it all for nothing? And then you see it. A flicker, a ripple across the surface of the event horizon. The great hunger flinches. The singularity, a being that has consumed stars without effort, is struggling. It is trying to process what you have given it. It understands energy. It understands matter. It does not understand sacrifice. It does not understand forgiveness. It does not understand why a creature would paint a picture of a sunset it knows will one day burn out. The smooth, perfect surface of the void begins to contort. Its immense gravitational pull, the force that held galaxies in its thrall, begins to falter. The data you fed it is a virus of logic in a system of pure instinct. Love is not logical. Hope is not efficient. Art serves no purpose for survival. The void tries to categorize the information. It tries to break it down into simple, digestible concepts. But it cannot. How can it file away the feeling of a parent holding their child for the first time? How can it quantify the courage of a soldier defending a home they know will fall? The paradox is too great. The simple, hungry void is choking on the complexity of humanity. The singularity recoils. The sphere of nothing shudders violently. The paradox you created is ripping it apart from the inside. But it does not explode. It does something far stranger. A line of light appears across the event horizon. A tear. Not a tear in the void, but a tear through it. The impossible logic of the Chronos device has forced the singularity to violate its own nature. It has created a stable, traversable wormhole, a gateway, an escape route, a shimmering silver wound in the skin of the abyss. It hangs before you, a perfect circle of light and swirling color. It is beautiful. It is impossible. It is your only way out. The gateway is a side effect, an unforeseen consequence of your attack. The goal was to destroy the void. But this is better. This is a scar that will never heal. A permanent testament to the day a god flinched. You look at your shattered console. You have minimal power. Just enough for one short burst from the emergency thrusters. It will have to be enough. You aim your broken vessel at the shimmering circle. Your hands are steady. The fear is gone, replaced by a cold, clear sense of purpose. You have faced the end of everything and punched a hole through it. Now, you just have to make it home. You trigger the thrusters. The tiny cockpit lurches forward, propelled by the last dregs of the unyielding's power. You fly towards the light. The long journey out has begun. You plunge into the gateway, leaving the wounded, reeling void behind you. The experience of passing through the gateway is indescribable. It is not like warp travel. It is like being unmade and remade 1,000 times a second. You see colors that have no names. You feel emotions that have no source. Your entire existence is stretched across an unknown distance of space and time. You see the birth of stars and the death of galaxies in the blink of an eye. You are a ghost, a memory, a thought traveling on a current of pure paradox. Then, as suddenly as it began, it is over. You emerge into stillness. The violent chaos of the gateway is gone. You are floating in the quiet of deep space. Your cockpit is battered but intact. You are alive. You look out the cracked canopy. You are in a star system that is not your own. A young yellow sun hangs in the distance. There are planets here, rocky inner worlds and huge gas giants. It is a place of comforting, familiar physics. You are lost, utterly and completely lost. But you are alive. You survived. A wave of exhaustion and relief washes over you, so powerful it almost makes you black out. Then, a soft, insistent beeping starts on one of the few consoles still drawing power. A signal. It is weak, ancient, and buried in static. But it is there. The AI in your suit's computer automatically decodes it. It is a simple, repeating message. A string of prime numbers. A diagram of a hydrogen atom. The universal welcome mat of a species reaching for the stars. The signal's origin is a small metallic probe drifting not far from your position. It is an old design, primitive. You recognize it from the history files. It is a Voyager probe, one of the first messengers humanity ever sent into the dark, launched centuries before you were even born. You are not just across space. You are across time. The probe's signal is a lifeline, a connection to a home you thought you might never see again. Using the probe's data as a navigation point, your suit's computer begins to calculate your position relative to Earth. The distance is immense. The time that has passed is staggering. But it is not infinite. You have a path. A long, lonely path, but a path nonetheless. You have enough power in your suit to send one single, tight beam message. A burst of data containing everything. Your flight logs, the data from the Chronos device, the proof of what you did. You aim your transmitter at the distant, calculated position of home. You send the message, a whisper across an ocean of stars and years. You do not know if it will arrive. You do not know if anyone is still there to hear it, but you send it anyway. You have done the impossible. You have faced the void and won. Now, all you can do is wait. Your signal, a ghost from the edge of reality, reaches home. It is faint. It is garbled, but it is undeniable. On Earth and across the settled colonies, astronomers and star scientists are stunned into silence. A signal from a pilot declared lost centuries ago. A message from a ship that was humanity's final, desperate prayer. The data you sent is analyzed. It is verified. And it changes everything. The story spreads like fire. The tale of the lone pilot who flew into a void eater and did not die. The warrior who fought not with weapons of fire, but with the very idea of humanity. You are no longer just a soldier. You are a legend, a myth made real. Your victory against the void becomes a cornerstone of a new human philosophy. The belief that nothing, no darkness, no abyss, no godlike entity, is truly impossible. Your name is taught to school children. Your ship, the unyielding, becomes a symbol of ultimate sacrifice and defiance. You, lost in an unknown corner of the galaxy, become humanity's proof that even in the face of absolute nothing, a single, stubborn soul can create a miracle. You are the legend that was born at the end of the universe.